A pleasant day to everyone, especially to the panelists who are watching right now. I am Mr. Mark Jeswell P. Blanquisco from the program Master of Arts in Teaching, Major in Mathematics. I am now on the final phase of my MAT journey, which I started in the year 2019. So in this video, you are going to witness the result of my research entitled Tutorial Blogs as Supplementary Materials in the Teaching of Mathematics 9. So without further ado, let us start the discussion by having the rationale of the study. Rationale of the study. Today's situation is one of the most challenging phases in the educational system all over the world due to the unexpected crisis people experience. Coronavirus disease, or COVID-19, plays a big impact in the day-to-day life of the students where the traditional face-to-face learning modality is prohibited. To flatten the curve on COVID-19 infection, education experts suggested different learning modalities such as modular distance learning modality and online distance learning modality as an alternative platforms to meet the demands of the new normal setup in education. This situation puts teachers in the place of working from home where managing time and class schedule lie on their hands. Mathematics is considered as one of the most challenging subjects in basic education. Considering the new normal arrangement of instructions, issues about how students were advancing scholastically, especially in mathematics, during remote learning area transpired. So, this clearly shows that a new methodology in mathematics is needed in order to meet the demands of the new normal setup. Philippines supports the integration of information and communications technology in education. So for the legal basis of this study, the Department of Education implemented the DepEd Computerization Program, or DCP, through the DepEd Order Number 78 Series of 2010, also known as the Guidelines on the Implementation of the DepEd Computerization, geared towards the transformation of education system. This policy supports the importance of enhanced basic education services through improved quality teaching and learning using ICT integration in the classroom instruction. This program seeks to provide schools with appropriate technologies that would enhance the teaching learning process and meet the challenges of the 21st century. Teaching does not end in the four corners of the classroom, as modeling comes in different ways. With this DepEd order that implements the use of technology, teachers may incorporate tutorial blogs as supplementary materials in the teaching of Mathematics 9. Students have different learning style, and the way they acquire mathematics skills also differ from each other. Thus, modeling is very necessary, on which they can freely watch, just like videos. That is the main objective of this study, to develop tutorial blogs as supplementary materials in the teaching of Mathematics 9. Let us now proceed to the theoretical framework of the study. This study was based from the cognitive theory of multimedia learning by Richard E. Mayer. It is known for having two channels, which are for visual represented materials and the auditory represented materials, and how they work from one another to process information. This theory explains that the brain takes in information and processes it in multiple channels based on how the information is presented. When a learner is presented visual information, including pictures, videos, charts, or presented words, all of the information goes into the visual channel and processed there. Auditory information includes spoken words in narration and other nonverbal sounds, and these are processed by the brain separately from the visual. Mayer emphasizes that these two separate channels enable the learner to work with information because the varying presentations of materials are processed separately. He further expounds that working memory, the learner can choose relevant images to remember and work with, and they can choose relevant words to remember and work with. While this information is working on their memory, it remains separate and the learner generates two models. Finally, the two learner integrates the visual model and the auditory model together with their prior knowledge and experiences. Once all the material has been combined in a functional way, the new knowledge can move into the long-term memory. This theory is connected on this study as tutorial blogs will feature two separate channels. The equation and math problems serve as images which will be processed on the visual materials of the learner, while the voiceover of the teacher, while explaining the process on the equations and math problems, will be processed on the auditory materials of the learners. Next one is the conceptual framework of the study. This study is a researcher-made approach which consists of a four-phase flowchart as shown in Figure 1. The first phase reflected the basic components needed in the study. It involves the selection of the participants who meet the criteria set by the researcher. It is divided into two: the mathematics experts who are well-versed in numbers and teaching the subject for 5 years or more, and information and communications technology specialists who are experts in the teaching field. They validated the developed tutorial blogs and decided if this can be used as supplementary materials in the teaching of Mathematics 9. The least mastered learning competencies and the most essential learning competencies of Mathematics 9 from first to fourth quarter are also included in this phase. In the second phase, the researchers made questionnaire checklist was seen here. It includes content validation of the instrument and reliability testing using the Cronbach's Alpha. In determining the level of acceptability, there are two types of questionnaire checklists on this phase. The first one is with respect to content, clarity, pedagogical value, and cognitive load for mathematics experts. And the second one is with respect to quality, story, transition, and sounds for IT experts. For the third phase, administration on the researchers made questionnaire checklist on the level of acceptability of tutorial blogs, along with the developed tutorial blogs and the data collection, tallying, tabulation, analysis, and interpretation of the data are reflected here. The last phase of the study determined the development and validation of tutorial blogs as supplementary materials in the teaching of Mathematics 9. Next is the statement of the problem. This study aims to determine acceptability of tutorial blogs as supplementary materials in the teaching of Mathematics 9. Specifically, it sought to answer the following questions. Number 1. How are the tutorial blogs developed? Number 2. How do the experts evaluated the tutorial blogs for Mathematics 9 with respect to 2.1 math experts? Content, clarity, pedagogical value, cognitive load. For IT experts, quality, story, transition, and sounds. Number 3. What are the comments and suggestions of the experts for the improvement of tutorial blogs as supplementary materials in the teaching of Mathematics 9? The next one are the findings per problem. So, let's get started. Based on the analysis and interpretation of the data collected, the findings are hereby summarized. On the developed tutorial blogs as supplementary materials in the teaching of Mathematics 9. The tutorial blogs were developed featuring different concepts such as narration, newscasting, entertainment, home visitation, documentary, game show, and quiz bee. The topics presented on the materials were derived from the least mastered learning competencies of the most essential learning competencies in Mathematics 9. There were 8 blogs comprising 8 lessons from the first to fourth quarter of Mathematics 9. The output was then evaluated by the mathematics experts for the content, while IT experts evaluated the technicalities of the materials. After the assessment, comments and suggestions given by the evaluators for further improvement of the developed tutorial blogs were incorporated. For statement of the problem number 2, on the level of acceptability of the developed tutorial blogs as assessed by mathematics and IT experts with respect to content, clarity, pedagogical value, cognitive load, quality, story, transition, and sounds. The developed tutorial blogs as supplementary materials in the teaching of Mathematics 9 as evaluated by the mathematics experts had a grand mean of 4.80, verbally interpreted as very much acceptable with respect to content, clarity, pedagogical value, and cognitive load. Correspondingly, the developed tutorial blogs as supplementary materials in the teaching of Mathematics 9 as evaluated by the IT experts had a grand mean of 4.77, verbally interpreted as very much acceptable with respect to quality, story, transition, and sounds. Suggestions and recommendations of the experts to improve the developed tutorial vlogs. As the researcher presented the developed tutorial blogs to the evaluators, the experts provided suggestions and recommendations to improve the learning materials. For Vlog 1, a mathematics expert suggests to limit the number of examples presented in the tutorial blogs. The cognitive load of some of the students in mathematics is limited and some of them cannot process multiple examples in one discussion. For Vlog 2, an IT expert recommends to use a moving object or videos on presenting examples that involve quadratic functions. According to him, instead of showing pictures like in sports or fountains, an actual video or animation showing the formation of a parabola will make the quality of the vlogs more pleasing on the eyes of the learners. For Vlog 3, both mathematics and IT experts don't much anything to say. They commend the unique way of presenting the lesson through newscasting. Moreover, the researchers' skill in portraying different roles on this vlog were given positive feedbacks. For Vlog 4, a mathematics expert noticed some of the examples presented in the tutorial vlog. According to her, there are items that were very easy to solve. She advised to use examples that will cater different learners' level of computational skills. For 5, an IT experts suggest to cover the vlogs like this in a closed-door room where voiceover can be heard audibly. He noticed that there are segments in the vlog where noise from the tricycle and other people around were captured in the vlog. For Vlog 6, the evaluators don't have any suggestions and recommendations on this vlog. They appreciate how the lesson was prepared in a distinctive way. A mathematics expert commented that she didn't even think that a lesson in mathematics can be discussed in a documentary concept. For Vlog 7, an IT expert suggests to lessen the sounds on the part where the host introduces the player. Furthermore, a math expert recommends that this vlog will be rated highly commendable if an illustration on the screen while the player is explaining the process of computation was presented. And lastly, for Vlog 8, an IT expert advises to capture how the contestants solve the problem given by the quizmaster in order to highlight the significant part of the vlog. After discussing the summary of findings, the following conclusions were drawn. The developed tutorial blogs can be used as supplementary materials in the teaching of Mathematics 9 as evaluated by the mathematics and IT experts. Developed tutorial blogs featured different concepts in presenting the lessons aligned in the most essential learning competencies in Mathematics 9. Least mastered learning competencies in the most essential learning competencies in Mathematics 9 can be taught in a unique and interesting way. The use of tutorial blogs in teaching the different learning competencies in Mathematics 9 may improve the computational skills of the learners. And lastly, teaching requires innovation and creativity of instructional materials to cater the needs of the demands of today's educational setup. And now is the last part of this recorded presentation, the recommendations. Based on the result of the study, the following recommendations are hereby proposed. Number 1. The remaining learning competencies in the most essential learning competencies in Mathematics 9 may be crafted by developing tutorial vlogs. Number 2. Supplementary materials that are locally developed may be checked based on the standards and parameters set by the Department of Education, Bureau of Learning Resource Management. Number 3. Teachers in mathematics may employ the use of tutorial vlogs in teaching the subject. Number 4. The developed tutorial vlogs is recommended to undergo experimental study employing pre- and post-tests to check whether the computational skills of the students improve or not after exposing them in the developed tutorial materials. Number 5. Further enhancement tutorial vlogs may be applied in different grade level, subject area, and other schools using variables not involved in this study. And lastly, future researchers may conduct parallel studies using other contexts intended for improving the performance of the learners. And that ends my recorded presentation. To the viewers and to the panelists, thank you for lending your time. For future researchers, may you find this recorded presentation helpful and useful for your final oral defense. Again, this is Mr. Mark Jaswil P. Blanquisco saying thank you and God bless. Bye-bye!